Hi everyone, I'm Molly.
And I'm Erica.
And welcome back to Happy Hour with Molly and Erica, where we cheers to your health. Cheers.
Ooh, cheers.
And give you practical nutrition tips over drinks. So, as you can tell, we are not alone. And we have another guest on the show today, Gillian Sanger, who we know through nutrition school. Gillian is obviously a holistic nutritionist, and she also is the founder of Harvest Moon Holistic Nutrition.
Yep.
So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So can you tell us what we're drinking today?
So we're drinking Cup of Calm. So Traditional Medicinals is one of my favorite brands.
Yeah, me too. They're amazing.
Very pure tasting.
Mm-hmm.
It's Monday, so I just figured start the week off on a nice calm note. A lot of the herbs in it, there's catnip, which is great for humans as well.
Yes, you don't get cat.
Lavender, peppermint. There's a lot of herbs that have been traditionally used as comedivs, so they definitely has a relaxing effect.
Amazing.
So yeah,
I mean, and it is a really good flavor. I feel like it's not intense.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, I really needed this today, so thank you for
You're
bringing
welcome.
it.
So did I.
So nutrition is like a huge umbrella, as we know. There's so many things that can fit under that spectrum. We know that your focus is mental health, so if you want nutrition and mental health, so if you want to expand on that.
Yeah, so at IHN, my favorite course was Psychology of Disease because I think there's such a connection.
Yeah, I loved it so much.
I think there's such a strong connection between the mind and the body.
Totally.
So I've just started taking a online certificate program in nutrition. It says
Nutritional psychology?
Certificate in Nutritional Psychology. So, yeah, I'm just trying to learn more about that because I have this intuitive understanding that it's so connected, but I want to get a bit more of the groundwork and science-based information to
because some
understand.
people really respond to that totally, and for yourself.
Exactly.
And I think one of the things that you're also really interested in is like mindful eating under that umbrella.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So mindful eating, I just think it's so important in this society that we find ourselves in. We're so busy all the time. We've become so far removed from our food source. One of my favorite authors and favorite books, Wendell Berry, wrote The Unsettling of America. And one of his main points is that through the mechanization of conventional agriculture, we've lost a part of our culture and our strong connection to food as people have moved away from the farms and moved into the cities. So
yeah, milk comes from the store, right?
Exactly.
I know.
So, and then we don't know all the ingredients that are in the foods that we're buying and pesticides and preservatives and all of that. So
it's generally crap.
Yeah. Well, and also it's like for mental health is the nutritional value has gone down in the way we've grown it as well. So
exactly the amount of minerals that are in the soil. Also just the speed at which we're eating. Are we properly breaking our food down to be able to absorb it?
I know I shovel food into my mouth on the go fairly often, and I'm a nutritionist, so and then if we get into the heart hunger, which I'll talk about the 7 hungers after, are we eating because we're feeling lonely or because we're stressed or bored? So all of that is all of the above
ties into mindful eating.
So can you just take us down a little bit, like why this is actually so important for us, especially like today? I feel like especially in Toronto. Yeah. Why is mindful eating so important for us today?
Well, I think mindful eating gives us the opportunity to check in with what we're eating and what we're experiencing. So basically, to define mindful eating, it's being aware of the experience both within ourselves and also with our food. So for instance, what does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? How appealing is that? And then, of course, what is causing us to eat that, or perhaps not eat certain things. So I think that because, especially living in the city, we're so busy, and there's, as we know, studying nutrition, there's so much information out there, and it's hard to kind of figure out what is correct or what makes sense for us. So by eating mindfully, or at least paying attention to it, we can hopefully quiet some of that information and also just listen to what feels right to our own individual selves.
Yeah, because I find even for myself, if I'm feeling busy or if I'm feeling stressed, I tend to really eat on like my impulses.
Totally.
And and again, like I'm a nutritionist and I know this to some extent, but I still find that I'm pulled very impulsively to like a
absolutely
whatever a Starbucks or something. It doesn't So totally get that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So go ahead.
So to elaborate a little bit, I guess mindful eating starts. So I have a lot of the information comes from this book by Jan Chosen Bays.
Nice.
She was a pediatrician, or is a pediatrician, and a meditation teacher.
Cool.
So in this, she talks about how mindful eating starts with at the very beginning, which is hunger. So there's 7 different types of hunger that she.
7?
7.
Yes.
We
just had one.
Yeah. So I can walk us through it, and then after we can try it with the tea.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the first one is eye hunger. So eye hunger is satisfied by beauty. So if we have a meal, how desirable is it based on how it looks?
Okay.
So if it looks like slop, maybe not so exciting.
Maybe not. Advertisements are a good example of taking advantage of this.
Yeah.
Instagram posts. All of that can influence how hungry we feel based on how something looks.
Oh, interesting.
Then there's nose hunger. So that's the smell of something, obviously. So, if you're walking by Subway sandwiches, you can get that.
Oh, I know. I swear they bottled it. I swear.
There must be.
I have an airport experience where I got off the plane. I could smell it. At that time, I couldn't have it.
Right.
And there was no Subway around. Do you know where it was? And almost on the way to the luggage pickup. I'm not even kidding you. They were infusing it into the thing, and I immediately wanted it when I got
And I
the
know
plane.
that you're going to get on the plane and
if I wasn't celiac at that time, I would have went and had a Subway sandwich.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So continue.
So that's an example of it's a nose hunger leads into it, and it's satisfied by fragrance. So we can also ask ourselves sometimes if we can fill that hunger with candles scented with essential oils or diffusers or flowers or just being out in nature.
Yeah.
Walking through the woods. Yeah. And then mouth hunger is satisfied by sensation, obviously, so taste and texture. In our
texture.
Yes.
Texture. The crunch,
Yeah.
The adrenal
like
crunch.
a chunky soup versus for me, I want like a chunky soup.
Yeah. Puree is not cutting it.
No, I'm missing something.
I agree.
In our Ayurveda course, we learned that according to Ayurveda, there's 6 different types of tastes. So sweet, sour, salty, bitter, astringent, and
sour. Did we say sour?
Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, astringent.
It's okay. It'll come to us.
There's 6.
There's 6. There's one.
It'll be in my brain in a second.
And the idea is that we need a balance of all of these to properly satisfy that craving.
Would like the umami thing kind of fit in there too? That what is it, like the 6th taste or something?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing.
Like the taste of miso
sweet, sour,
or like
bitter,
astringent.
salty.
Did I say astringent?
You did, yeah.
Pungent?
Pungent.
There you go.
It's
all up here, don't worry.
And similarly, let's say at the end of the night you're having a glass of wine and some chocolate.
Yeah.
Then how often do we find that we're craving something salty? So there's a balance that I think we're always looking for.
Or like the dessert at the end of a salty meal or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. And then we've got stomach hunger, which is satisfied by the right types of foods and the right amounts of foods. And then we have cellular hunger, which is satisfied by essential elements. So that would be carbs, proteins, fats, water, salt, minerals, vitamins. And then we have mind hunger, which feeds on information, but in the book she really talks about how it's only truly content when it's silenced. So again, going back to that, what I was saying earlier, how there's so much information, and a lot of it can be contradicting. Or first, dairy is good for you, and then it's bad for you, and it can be very overwhelming. So I think sometimes we actually have to tone down the mind hunger a little bit,
for sure,
and to pay attention to the other ones.
Yeah.
Well, I think people become resigned. They're like, whatever, I'm just going to go with what I first learned.
Exactly.
And that's the method I'm going to follow and screw it all because, you know, it becomes very overwhelming.
Yeah.
For sure.
So just so I'm clear, so the mind hunger is not actually necessarily related to food, or it's related to just information around food?
Information surrounding food.
Got it. Okay.
For instance, I should eat 3 meals a day.
I see.
I should eat 4 meals a day.
And
I should eat
smaller
meals.
Eat like in accordance to that. There's like all of the accompanying either guilt or stress or got it. Totally makes sense.
Yes. 100%. Or I shouldn't have this chocolate, but I'm going to do it anyways. And then you feel like you've done something wrong,
and you don't even like it while you're eating it because you're feeling guilty about it.
Your mind is just like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, totally.
I do like the really fast scarf so that like maybe my mind doesn't catch up with my mouth.
And you have chocolate dripping down the side of your mouth.
It's like, but do it fast enough, then
it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Guilt will relieve itself.
Yeah. And then the last one, which I find the most interesting, because you can really delve into it, and for personal development, fascinating, is heart hunger. So heart hunger is satisfied by intimacy. So I think often there's a false sense of intimacy with certain objects. So whether for some people that might be shopping or alcohol or drugs or some sort of food addiction. Just to varying degrees, you know. And so with heart hunger, we can actually maybe pause and step back and take a look at what is there something that we're missing? Are we feeling uncomfortable with something that our first instinct is to go and eat, and that's going to make us feel better, and it might temporarily, but is there something underlying all of that?
Yes. Yeah, I immediately went and got a chocolate bar like after the first day of this weekend when I was like in an intensive course.
Yeah.
I was like, I need chocolate like ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just because I was feeling like,
so stressed and like on.
Yeah, I don't know if that goes along with that, but totally. I felt like I was like, I needed a hug, and I just went and bought chocolate.
Yeah.
You know?
Chocolate
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Good chocolate, mind you, but.
Still. And one of the important things I think with mindful eating is really non-judgment and feeling compassionate towards ourselves, and not. Totally. It's not about making the right choice every time. But it's being aware of why we might be making certain decisions.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So if we want, we can walk through each of those again briefly with the tea.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Can I have some more water?
Oh, yeah. I think. Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start with eye hunger again.
Okay.
So eye hunger, it's about the tea, but it's about where we are, who we're with. So how hungry are we for this tea based on what we see around us? So you can each analyze for yourself on a scale from 0 to 10 how that resonates with you. 0 being not desirable at all, 10 being 100% you want to drink this.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm at a full 10. I've almost already finished my
Yeah. Should we say things about it?
No, you can just think.
Okay.
You can, but I think
it doesn't have to be
ultimately it's just however you're feeling.
I'm better than you. I created a 10. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
But so things, I just want to say one thing though. So for me, this is like my grandmother's set of dishes, and it's my house, and I like both of you a lot. So I'm very excited about my surroundings. So those kinds of things.
100%.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. And actually, speaking to the dishes, for instance, another way, just later on to practice mindful eating is to satisfy your eye hunger by taking out your nicest dishes and plating things in a way that you would plate for other people or for Instagram, for instance, but just to do it for yourself, not for anything else.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I really resonate with that.
Yeah, totally.
So next we have nose hunger, so we can smell it. And there's a bunch of herbs in there. So again, on a scale from 0 to 10, how much does this tea resonate with your nose hunger?
I'd say I'm like a 7.
Nice.
Yeah, we don't have to answer. Answer for yourself.
And if you obviously this is something that you can take into your next meal or drink.
Yeah.
So mouth hunger. So we can give it a taste. And that gives us an idea of how the flavors work with our own palates, and how much, again, on a scale from 0 to 10, how much we wish to drink the whole thing and perhaps more.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Excellent. stomach hunger. So how are our guts feeling, and is there space? You know, if we've just drank a liter of water, do we necessarily even want to drink anymore? Or are we still, you know, trying to process the last meal? One? Yeah. So then we move to cellular hunger. So obviously in this tea, there's a bunch of herbs that are going to work in our bodies in different ways. So we know that a lot of them have traditionally been used as accommodative. So again, how exactly how much are our bodies craving that sort of effect?
Totally. That's what I literally have almost drank all my tea.
It's a hard 10. It's a hard 10.
Yeah.
And then we move to mental hunger. So again, this is based on information. So we've talked a lot about the benefits of this tea. Is that also influencing how much we want to drink it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Excellent.
And then heart hunger. So
why are we drinking this tea?
Yeah, you know, again, it's satisfied by intimacy, and that can be with, you know, with friends, with family members, even within ourselves. I think intimacy can come from having gratitude for what we're drinking. So just bringing the mindfulness. I think that kind of wraps it all together. Just being mindful.
Yeah,
seriously, that's awesome.
This is so great.
I really love, and also, like, sorry, I have to say, these tea bags come with a cute little nourishing message that also just like adds to the whole like mindfulness of it as well. It's like,
and I feel like this is such a good I don't know, this would be an amazing thing to do with like kids, or like I would love to do this. I would love to go home and do this with my parents and just like take through like what am I really happy and excited about in this meal before you sit down.
Absolutely,
When you can visualize it too, like what you're saying, like eye hunger, nose hunger, you know, mouth hunger, like with kids, like, all right, are you thinking about all of this while you're eating?
Totally get down with that.
And it's something that they can visualize as well. When they're on their own, going like at school lunch or whatever. Like,
absolutely.
And they're
probably more open to it than adults, I would say. Open to like this kind of an experience.
Because they're still learning and they're still developing their relationship to food, I think. The older you get, the more ingrained our habits become. And not to say that we can't, I mean, obviously, this is about stepping back and looking at it, but I think for kids, it's the perfect time to introduce them to it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So are there any other methods that we could do to practice for like mindful eating?
Yeah, so obviously going through all of this is not something you might not do every meal. But you can, for instance, set aside one meal a week to make it a mindful meal. So again, start with the plate and how you're gonna satisfy eye hunger and nose hunger. So cook it yourself. What herbs and spices are you going to use that are going to infuse the kitchen as you're cooking? So go through all of those things, and while you're eating it, really just sit with it. No phone, no computer,
no TV.
Exactly. So some other small things that we can do is in the mornings, whether you're having hot water with honey and lemon or tea or coffee, whatever it is to really sit and be present with the first 3 or 4 sips. Now we've all got busy lives, and we have to carry on after that, but just to really pay attention to how it feels that our body is integrating your morning beverage, and also just giving your time to kind of relax and give your mind a chance to be at ease before jumping into a whole bunch of
before you jump into your day.
Activities for the day.
So it can be as short as that, just like one little blip in your morning. I love that. So it can really fit in wherever you need it to fit in. This is so great. I love all of this stuff. And you're actually going to be doing an event soon.
Yes.
So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I'm doing fittingly a mindful eating workshop. So that's on Monday, May 20th at 7
March
p.m.
20th.
Yes, it's not May.
March 20th.
I really wish it was May. It's not.
Yeah, right.
Monday, March 20th.
March 20th.
Yeah. And it's at a studio out near Bloor and Jane.
Okay.
So,
Westsiders.
Yeah. So the workshop is basically going to go through a few different mindful eating exercises, some prompted journaling exercises. It's going to be a chance to really go inwards with a group of other people. It's going to be a small group to keep it intimate, and there's going to be opportunity to share. and see how other people are feeling, and if that feels comfortable to people,
Amazing.
Yeah, so...
And so how can they get information on that event if they want to go?
So the event, the tickets are on Eventbrite.
Okay. Oh, cool.
But probably the easiest way to get there is through either my website or my Facebook page, which is harvestmoonholisticnutrition.com.
Amazing.
Or Facebook page is Harvest Moon Holistic Nutrition.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the event's going to be amazing. This was so fun. I'm sure you're going to be back on Molly and Erica.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you anytime. But until next time, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
And subscribe to Molly and Erica on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Molly and Erica, Instagram @Molly and Erica, and mollyanderica.com. Cheers.
Cheers.